welcome to Two for Tuesday, where I take one ingredient and use it for two reasons. My name is Sarah Manaresi, and welcome to my kitchen. It's Hanukkah time in our house, and traditionally during Hanukkah you fry everything, which is not exactly a healthy thing. But you really can't get around it because it symbolizes one of the miracles that God has done. The temple oil used to take 8 days to be made, and they only had enough oil to light it for 1 day. And that oil lasted for 8 days, and so that is why, or one of the reasons why, there are 8 days of Hanukkah. But everything's fried, so if you don't fry it, then you're not symbolizing the miracle, and then there's kind of no point. So one thing that you have with latkas, because that's fried potato pancakes, if you didn't know what they are is applesauce. Well, that got my mind thinking, and I went to baked apples, and this is going to be a great recipe that's super quick and easy for you and your kids to make, and they're relatively pretty good for you. So, roll up my sleeves here. We are going to make kind of like a butter log. What I've done is I've cored apples, but not all the way through. So it does take a little bit of, how can I graciously say it? Grace and a little bit of knife skills. I did use a core to try to get as much as I could, but then so I wouldn't go all the way down through, I used a knife. No one wants to see me try to do that. It was quite comical because it did not go quite according to plan. These are Pink Lady apples. Honey Crisps work really well too. I have some salted, softened butter. I have half a cup of brown sugar. Now this really makes for 4 apples, but my kids didn't want any, or they wanted to share one, I should say. So I didn't see the point of making 4 of them if we're only going to eat some of them. You know how that goes. I'm sure someone will change their mind once they see and smell it. 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I love Vietnamese cinnamon from King Arthur flour. It is the best. I have one child who does not like nuts, so first I'm just going to make this log without the nuts in it. It's pretty messy. It's okay. It's fun to get your hands in. And so I've already preset my oven to 375 degrees, and once this is all combined, we're going to bake them for about an hour. Now while I'm doing this part, I also made a Betty, and a Betty's kind of like similar to a crumble, but not. That's why it's called a Betty. And what I did there is I took about 6 ounces of whole wheat honey bread, and I processed it in my food processor till they were pea-sized, and I toasted them in the oven until they were nice and light brown. Keep an eye on them, because depending on how small you chop them up, it's going to determine how long it's going to take them to burn. So just depending. And then I melted 1 stick of butter on the stovetop until it was, you're getting brown flecks in it. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes or so. I removed that and put it in a separate bowl. And then I tossed that with the breadcrumbs. And then while I did that, well, see, this is my brown sugar log, but let me finish talking about the Betty. While I did that, I peeled and cored 2 Golden Delicious apples, 2 Granny Smith apples, and I chopped them into pieces. And then I did the same with a pint or a pound of strawberries. I hulled them and sliced them. Put half a cup of white sugar, some cinnamon, and a little bit of salt, and I stirred it around, let it stand for about 10 minutes or so. Then with the crumble mixture, I put it at the bottom of the pan, and then I divided it into thirds. So then I put a third at the bottom, poured some apples, half the apple mixture, then another third of the breadcrumbs, apple mixture, and then the top of that. And I put that in the oven for about a good hour or so at 375. Covered with foil, and then I removed the foil, and another 20 minutes or so at 400 degrees, I brought the oven up, originally at 375, just to get a nice golden crumble on top. Took it out of the oven, served it with some whipped cream. Sounds complicated, but it's really, really easy, and it's delicious. And honestly, you could probably get away with a little bit less sugar in there. I was surprised at how well it came together with such little sugar compared to how many apples and strawberries there were. But I bet you can even get away with less. So here's how you do this. Then you're going to take this, and we're going to form a log like so. Doesn't look very appetizing, but it's going to be delicious. And then you just take the stick and you stick it down in the apple core until it hits the bottom, and then you can just top it off. Now, if you have nut lovers like myself, I have some chopped pecans or pecans, depending on where you're from. And I'm gonna add that to the mixture as well. So you can tell that this one will be for my kids and this one will be for me. My oldest might try it with the pecans in it. He's kind of funny when it comes to that kind of thing. And then you're just gonna stuff that in the hole as well, as much as it will go in. You're gonna put a little bit of water at the bottom of the pan, like so, just so that it covers it. And you're gonna stick it in like so, and you put it in the oven at 375 for about an hour until they're all nice and baked and brown and delicious. And like I said, there's all this left over, so don't think you put a whole half a stick in just 2 apples. And then they come out and they're delicious, and that cinnamon's gonna smell good, that brown sugar's gonna caramelize a little bit, and of course there's butter, and who doesn't like butter? So I hope that these 2 recipes will become family favorites of yours. I will have them posted along with this video, and I hope you are having a fabulous holiday season. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye!